Okay, so this position arose in a Smith-Morra gambit that actually started kind of funny. I led with d4, my opponent played c5, and I'd never seen this before against d4, and I was confused. I didn't like the option of taking. It just led me to games I've never played before, and I'm guessing my opponent uses this system against d4 because he has some tactics, some tricks. The way I saw it going in my head, I actually paused for 30 seconds to consider this. I saw him, if I took, that he would play an immediate e5 or e6, attacking my pawn, and if I come over here and defend with b4, this is awkward for me. I don't like this. He's got more pieces. He's got more control in the middle. I'm on the flank. I didn't know what to do. When I'm playing e4, I like to play the Smith-Morra gambit, which looks like this: c takes c3, and so I thought, why not? I'll just play a Smith-Morra. I never get a chance to play that anymore because I'm always playing d4. So I played Smith-Morra, and if my opponent played strangely with queen a5, which just allows queen takes d4. And I didn't play that. I still wanted to play this regular Smith-Morra system, so I played knight f3, and I went ahead and gambited this pawn. D takes, knight takes, and I won't show you how we got to the position in question, but here we're in this position here, and I played e5, bumping this knight off of its square. Now my opponent, I would call the position basically equal at this point. If you look at the imbalances on the board, you can see white's down a pawn because of that Smith-Morra gambit. I've yet to recover that pawn, and but I have a lead in development. I'm pushing his knight off of a good square, and white's game is fine here. I played a gambit opening on purpose. I gave up the pawn for something, and I feel like I have equality right now. And there's going to be a lot of tactical shots that could go in my favor. I have a lot of good fighting chances. It's a fun game to play. So here, what we're going to talk about today is having the ability to evaluate your position before and after a series of trades to decide if it's really good for you. Now, black is up a pawn here. So generally speaking, when you're up material, you want to trade down, simplify. If you added up the value of all the pieces on the board, and say in this position, the value of the pieces was like 30 pawns or whatever. I'm not going to do all the math right now. And the value for white side would be 29 pawns or something. I'm up 1. He figures if I can reduce that ratio from 29 over 30 to 22 over 23 or something like that, it's a better ratio for him. So basically, you want to trade down when you're up material. And my opponent understands this principle. But what he didn't do is he didn't evaluate the value of the position after the series of trades. So what my opponent does, my pawn's attacking his knight, and he throws the in-between move. He wants to initiate a series of trades on f2, and he sees bishop takes, rook takes, knight g4. So now he's got 2 attackers on this rook and 1 defender. Now at this point, he's down the exchange, and he's going to win that exchange back. Plus he still has that pawn. So I played queen e1 here, defending f2. He plays knight takes, queen takes, queen takes, king takes. Now my opponent has succeeded in reducing the material on the board while he's up material, which in most cases is good to do. The problem with this is that, as you can see, he's fallen extremely behind in development, and he decides to castle, which further causes problems here. And I play bishop f4. Now you can see in this position I'm still down a pawn, but I have 4 active pieces on all good squares, and my opponent has nothing going. He has 2 small pawns on the 6th rank. He's castled, and everything else is very, very passive. Now in this position, I think even though I'm down a pawn, I say white is definitely better here. I have a lot more to do, and he's going to have to spend a lot of moves unraveling, getting these pieces out. His next move is knight c6, and I'm just going to start pushing forward and attacking. White has a small advantage here, despite being down a pawn. So if we back up to where my opponent decided to make that trade, you can see in this position here, he's up a pawn and he's developed, and I'm developed, and he's still got some undeveloped pieces. So do I, and that's okay for now. But black is better in this position, or at the very least, he's achieved equality, which is what you want from black, is to be able to achieve equality and reach a middle game where you have equal chances. and then you can start working tactically. And he's achieved that because I've given him a pawn. And after he makes a series of trades here, trade, 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 you can see how the board is not equal anymore. The imbalance materially is in his favor, and the imbalance positionally is in my favor, which is what Gambit players want to see. So when you're considering making a series of trades, despite the standard ideas of trading down when you're out material, you need to take a look at what the position on the board will look like. You need to be able to visualize that in your head. Look at what the board will look like after that series of trades, and then evaluate that position for what it is. And don't just think, well, I'm up material. If I trade down, clearly it'll be better for me, right? Like, that's a good rule of thumb. You need to really consider what the board will look like at that point, and then make your decision based on whether or not the board looks good to you. So that's our lesson for today. I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to posting another video for you soon.